Have you always wanted to start your own business but instead find yourself stuck working your day job? Are you not sure how to start or what to do first? I'm Cheryl Grace, and you might want to join me every second and fourth Sunday of each month as I help my Lone Star mentee achieve her goal of launching a business on Live from the Pink Couch.
Darsh is a college graduate, and she has been working for 3 whole years. And Darsh is excited about launching her own business. Darsh, her pink elephant goal is to open a casual street fair Indian restaurant or food truck by the year January 2021. And her homework assignment was to identify at least 10 restaurant owners and or food truck owners and arrange an informational interview with at least 3 of them. And she was also assigned to share her business plan when she met with them. So Darsh, okay, I gotta know, did you do your homework? I feel like move that truck. Did you do your homework?
Wow, this is actually super exciting to kind of learn a bit more about that. So connected with a vegan fast casual Mexican food truck owner named actually, Nisi out in Austin, Texas, but has his roots out in Chicago as well. So was super cool to learn a bit more about that, but also connected with more of new restaurant owners as well in the Chicago area for the 2 other people.
Okay, so what'd you learn, Darsh? How much does it cost to start a restaurant or a food truck?
For sure. So it's kind of around 200,000 range with regards to kind of what it takes to open up a brick and mortar. Obviously, you either get to own the building or you lease the building. So it's kind of what you're looking to do and how much investment you really want to have within the restaurant. But with food trucks, there's a lot more zoning opportunities that come because there's cleanliness that needs to be maintained within the trucks as well as kind of where you're parked. So, you need to get approval from the city as to where you're going to be parked, or if you're in, say, a Walmart shopping center, you need permission from that store to be parked there too. So it was kind of interesting to learn kind of more of the costs associated with owning a brick and mortar as opposed to a food truck. Obviously, it's cheaper, I guess, with initial investments to open up a food truck, right? All you have is a small team and the trailer that you're responsible for, but more investment with a brick and mortar. But what I found interesting, at least, was with the brick and mortar, way more long-term stability. Because you have kind of recognition between being like, hey, Chat is out in so-and-so location, and, it's not like people are on the move to kind of figure out where you're going to be the next day.
So there's not one set location.
Sorry, what's that?
There's not one set location for a food truck.
Yes, correct. So usually with food trucks, from what I learned from Sergio, actually, was he kind of switches around in terms of where he is for the day based on where traffic is, right? Usually he hits up the financial district on Mondays and Wednesdays because that's where he's able to make the most revenue for the day because it's extremely busy. People are in the lunch breaks, but as as the day dwindles and kind of it's also weather dependent whether they're open or not, because if it's raining, no one's going to be leaving their house to go get food, right? So it's super dependent on weather, especially considering, in Chicago, it snows 6 months out of the year. So where you're going to be parked is super, super crucial. It snowed in May. So it's super crucial as to where you're going to be parked, for lack of better words. But that's also the cool part about it, is because you get to explore a different part of the neighborhood and you kind of, the food travels with you, right? So it's kind of like cultural diffusion of food in that aspect.
Okay. So Darsh, I'm so glad you did your homework. I have a special surprise for you today.
Ooh, super exciting.
Oh, yeah, surprise. So one of the things that I've shared with each mentee when they signed up for this opportunity was that I promised that I would find a person who is either a coach or who is already living your dream. And so, Darsh, we're going to start with you because we found someone who is living their dream. And if you have your iPhone, and if you
Yeah.
want to say, "Hey Siri,
Hey
what's
Siri.
the number one nutritional restaurant in Jamaica, New York?" This woman's restaurant pops up. The highest rated one I see is the Darsh spot on guy. She's telling me this right now. I'm gonna ask that question again because it's just the one you're looking for. Yes, that is Siri. That's the one I'm looking for. I'm gonna ask it again, okay? Hey Siri, what's the highest rated health food restaurant in Jamaica, New York? Number one nutritional. Hey Siri, what's the number one nutritional restaurant in Jamaica, New York?
It's actually the best restaurant in Jamaica, New York.
The Nourish Spot's number one. So we have the number one rated restaurant, health food restaurant here with us today via Jamaica, New York. Her name is Dawn Kelly. Let's give it up for Dawn. Yay, Dawn. Hi, Dawn. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. I hear you loud and clear.
So Dawn actually was a corporate executive at a major brand, just like you are, Dar, right?
Yeah.
She's an executive at a brand, and she wanted to have her own business, but Dawn didn't have the chutzpah to kind of jump out there on her own. It wasn't until after her company had a layoff that she found herself faced with what she was going to do next. And she had always dreamed of owning a juice bar. And fast forward, that was like a very short 2 years ago, I think, Dawn, two and a half years ago. And now she's the number one restaurant that Siri is pointing you to. So your dream can come true, Darsh. I want you to spend a few minutes having a conversation with Dawn. Dawn, if you could share with us anything that you think Darsh should know going into this, jumping in, both feet forward. And if you guys could just spend like maybe the next 4 or 5 minutes talking about things that you need to overcome or understand to be a fast food restaurant owner, or a Nourish Spot restaurant owner, or a food truck restaurant owner. I'm going to let you two have a conversation with each other.
Okay. Well, hi, Darsh, and congratulations to you for jumping out on faith to try and establish your business. I'm Dawn Kelly. As Cheryl said, I'm the CEO of the Nourish Spot. It's a healthy food and beverage haven. We're a brick and mortar S Corp in Jamaica, Queens. We established ourselves actually in March of 2016 when we filed the papers to become a trademarked company. And then it took a little more than 18 months to find a space to do the build out and to actually get all the permits and licenses that we needed in order to open our doors to people. I would tell you that I, like you, thought that it would be done much quicker, but there were a bunch of obstacles and pitfalls, including working with contractors. And you may not have that issue because I learned that you are interested in doing a food truck. So you may not have as many of those issues that I had in terms of a contractor, but you will have some challenges surrounding licensing and health and sanitary needs of a food truck. You'll still go through the same thing. Some of the people that you talk to, I'm sure their restaurants may differ in size. It may differ in their menu and what they're offering. We spent, when I say we, I'm a family-owned business. I'm in business with my 2 children. We spent a little more than $75K just to open up the business. And I did not get any loans. I actually funded the business by myself.
Woo!
Because I had saved a lot working at a financial services firm and as an executive when my job was eliminated. I actually got a sizable severance package, so I used that money to fund the actual dream of the Nourish Spot. And I'm just gonna change one little thing. I actually did have dreams of opening my own business, but it was a public relations and marketing business. I tell you
Yeah.
honestly, I never thought that I would open up a juice bar, but because I had worked so many years in the financial services industry, I gained a lot of weight. And I was trying to lose the weight, and I started juicing before my job was eliminated. And it's just so funny how life works. I end up opening up a juice bar. So here's a couple of questions that Cheryl had asked me. How much on average does it cost to run the business with staff, business, and other expenses? It's a little more than about $5,000, and that's maybe per quarter, with staff salaries, with paying light and gas and water bills, because when you have a juice bar, you use a lot of water, you lose a lot of ice. So about $5,000, a little or more per quarter. Um, uh, in addition, the reason I think that Siri is now counting us as one of the best restaurants in Jamaica, Queens, is because we've been lucky, and I don't even want to say lucky. I'll say blessed to
Yeah.
earn 5-star ratings from our customers on the food options and the satisfactory nature of the products that they receive from us, whether they walk in, dine in, or get food delivered from the food delivery applications. I won't name them today. So that's one of the reasons I think that we've been able to get this type of I guess notoriety, if you will, from Siri. And another thing, if I was starting over today, what would be one thing I wish someone had told me about starting a restaurant? Well, one would be, I think you're ahead of the game in having a mock-up of a business plan. I didn't have one, sweetie. I jumped in with both feet and just tried to make it work. But since then, I've gone to the SBA, the SBDC in my area. I've gone to New York City small business development centers, all of the organizations that are in your city as well, that are designed and set up to provide resources and information to help you not only start up a business, but to successfully run it. And one of the things I think that I would have learned earlier is pricing strategy, because that is the one important thing that I think that you should know from the outset. What's the right price to price your food options so that profitability will begin in the beginning.
Hmm.
Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, and honestly, you know what the funniest thing is? I'm from New York City before I moved, and my mom's actually been to your restaurant, and it's funny.
Yay!
It's so funny how life works.
Oh, this is perfect.
Yeah, no, the place is great, but that's so funny. No, and I think for me, I completely agree with you, right? I feel like, especially with living in large cities, whether it be, where we are in Chicago or even in New York, obviously location matters, especially with what you're pricing your items at,
yes.
And kind of like the amount of product they're getting for that, because I think portions matter too.
Yes.
Right. So I think that's super interesting that you'd mentioned that, because I think that's something that I'm considering as well, because you go to these restaurants and it's like a small plate of food and it's like, what, $30, and you're like, I'm still hungry.
Exactly.
So completely understand that on your end. I think for me, the SBA wasn't something that I had considered kind of being a part of, or even like a networking group of sorts, especially for small business owners. And I think people are kind of moving more into that as well because, everyone's shopping local and they want to support people in their community. Yes. So that's definitely something that I'm gonna look into as well. But out of curiosity, so you'd mentioned, that you wanted to open up a marketing agency and you pivoted and you're like, no, this is something that I'm super passionate about. I'm going to open up a juice bar. So is that something, I guess, that motivates you when I guess you're like, everything's not going your way and, you're like, why did I get started in the first place?
Yes. So I'm motivated by the fact that I'm helping people get healthy. I'm motivated by the opportunity to put Black and brown children to work in my community. Many of the young people that come through the Nourish Spot that work for me come through internship programs that are attached to the area programs or the high schools. In addition, I'm motivated by the fact that I'm a single mom and I'm trying to establish a legacy for my 2 children so that when I'm no longer here, they have a business. I think about this. If McDonald's can do it and Starbucks can do it, why not us? Why not us, right?
Right.
The other thing I wanted to tell you, back to about the store, we sell a lot of the things that I have found since opening that are in some of the medicines that we all are taking, the pharmaceuticals like ginger and wheatgrass and turmeric. Or we give it to you in a raw form and it goes straight into your system. So I think it's just important for us to do the research. So that's the other thing. You have to do the research and you have to find out in your community what's missing, and what the people need and what they're willing to pay for. And once you find that information out, then you do your best to provide it.
Right.
Thank you, Dawn. Oh my gosh, this is such great insight. I love that you were so honest and transparent about it. Darsh, I hope this was helpful. I will give you Dawn's direct contact information so you guys can talk directly. Dawn is very modest. She's won many awards since she's opened up. She has become a coach in her own right to others. And she just did an event for Kanye West at the Lincoln Center in New York.
That's amazing.
So, huge. And we're really, really thrilled to have you on board with us, Dawn. Thank you for talking to Darsh. Darsh, your homework assignment, based on what I've heard today, is I think it's 2 things. One is to find a meetup group here in Chicago, a restaurant meetup group that you can join. And those are great opportunities to kind of network.
Right.
And the second is to start thinking about your pricing structure.
Check out the full Live from the Pink Couch web series and keep up with all 5 mentees' progress on powerfulpenny.com. This has been a Powerful Penny LLC Pink Elephant production.